Well, thank you very much. You have indicated, or you want me to look at the indiscipline that we are experiencing in our busy schools in Ghana, and especially here in my district, Adansi North. There are several causes that we can talk about that brings about indiscipline in our schools. So let me quickly start by saying that first, the world is changing so fast that every child in this particular time would have to adjust himself or herself to suit the new changes, especially with regards to IT, social media, the internet, and so on and so forth. Everything that they watch on the television, online, is something that can influence their lives. And you know, at that stage, the adolescent stage is a very peculiar in the life of every human being. So when they get to that stage, they have the urge to explore whatever is going on around them. And this is the exact time they get entangled on the social media, and then others use it to misbehave. So when they keep watching pornographic materials, watching films that are not recommended for children, it changes their perception, it changes their way of life, it changes so many things in them. The discipline that they are supposed to have traditionally gets to change. The changing world, or the modern trend, has had a very difficult situation or influence on our traditional way of life, where parents were able to train children to accept our traditional lives, where the elderly people are respected, where teachers are respected, where they accept advice from any elderly people or elderly people in the communities. This time it is not so, because parents do not even accept other people to have a say in their children's misbehavior, indiscipline, or anything that goes on around them. And this is affecting our students so much. Besides, we do not even have models in the society where children or these young ones can learn from. Let's use politicians, for example. I know many people may not like this attribution, but it is a fact. Every now and then you hear on air or on radio stations the behavior that some of these politicians are putting up. You sit on air and talk the whole day amidst insults, corruption, easier way of making money. Politics is not a profession, but the way it is handled, it makes students, especially those who listen to such media, to think that it is easy to make money. And therefore, staying in school becomes very difficult for them. They fail to accept that when you study hard, or when you are able to go far in your education, that is where you can become a very good politician. So it affects the growth and the discipline of our students. So students do not have good role model in our societies. Besides, most parents do not even have the time for their children this time around. They train the children without taking into consideration the fear of God or morals that the children must adopt right from infancy. So they train them anyhow without inculcating God-fearing in them. Where a student, a very young person, can open the camera and insult the elderly. So if a person is able to, or a student is able to insult president, insult the Asante king, insult elderly people, then who are you as a teacher in this person's presence? They can do worse than that. So for me, I'm thinking that the proliferation of the social media, something must be done about it. I cited an example in the foreign countries like China, where there is a limit to apps that students can use. They don't just open up all the apps for everybody to use. They've put restrictions on the usage of some of these apps. But in Ghana, it is not so. Everybody can do whatever. So if we mean to train our children the way we want them to go, then the media must be restricted to some of these things. Apart from that, parents. So parents that have started well with their children at home, because the home is the first classroom of the child. So if parents start well with the training of their children at home, it is not difficult for teachers to merge with the parents to see the upgrowth of these children. That is very, very important. But you see, it is said that you cannot teach old dogs new tricks. So when people's or children acquire certain knowledge to certain level, there is no way you can change them again. They have then become adults, and you cannot change their attitude. The young ones, we can change their attitude through learning or education. But when they grow to certain level, you cannot change it again. So the collaboration between teachers and parents should always work right from the infancy going forward. And that is the only way we can make a change in our children. Besides, national policies on such things in our schools, giving teachers some level of autonomy, giving directors some level of autonomy, educational workers, or let me say teachers, to handle certain things where in educational institutions, heads and directors can have the opportunity to sack students that misbehave at the school. If there are no strong or strict sanctions in the institutions, definitely we will not be able to uproot this indiscipline from our institutions. We're talking of human rights, and somebody's rights ends at where one's nose begins. Even though we have human rights, but we need to have the opportunity to expel students who misbehave, gross misbehavior in the schools from the institutions, so that it will serve as a deterrent to other potential in our schools. I mean, this time we can mention sexual, drugs, fighting. I mean, using cutlasses, killing and other things, which is very regular in our schools this time around. Suicide. One stay not attending classes. One can stay in the dormitory for a week without attending class. Respect to teachers. Fighting in the schools. not paying attention in classrooms. Even at the basic level, especially at the JHS, they also engage in sexual activities, gambling, smoking, galamseying outside the school, and so on and so forth. So these are all the things that they do at the basic level. Disrespect to even parents, or other things that happen in our busy schools. With them every now and then, especially during PTA meetings or community engagement. Since the home is the first classroom for the peoples, we talk about it. I did mention that the way you lay your bed, so you must lie on it. If you start training your child with truthfulness, with God-fearing, definitely the child will grow to be truthful and God-fearing. But where you yourself start lying to the child, or if the child misbehaves, you don't put in any sanctions or correctional approach to the child for the child to know wrong and right at home, definitely you will not achieve a good training for your child. So whenever we meet parents, we make it known to them that as a parent, you are a model. You are a change. You are changing the behavior of the child as the child grows. So whatever you do at home, the child picks it. If you are truthful, the child will definitely grow to pick it. If you are hardworking, your child will grow to pick it. If you advise your child well, the child will grow up to take the advice that you give to him or her. If you are God-fearing, as you attend church, as you tell your child what to do and what not to do morally, the child learns all these things. So most of the behavior that the people start at home is coming from the parents. So if you neglect this responsibility, definitely you are neglecting the good training that you have to give to your child. We have been engaging them this during stakeholders engagement and PTA meetings. So this is what we do for the parents. Recently we had one at Agogo also, and you can imagine the contributions parents gave to us not to fight in the present, not to fight with husbands, or husband not to insult wives in the presence of children. And all these things are disciplinary measures that we train parents such that they wouldn't misbehave in the presence of the people, to also pick that odd character and send it out.